Assume that you're running a factory.
Excuse me, sir.
Or assume that, I'll come to you. Or assume that you're a machine. Assume for a moment that you're this inanimate object called machine. Is it possible for the machine as a whole or one component to take the position that it is superior to the other? Because if the others were missing, could the machine work? Answer the question. Is it possible for anybody to take the position that in a given organization, it can dispense with a certain category of people altogether and still function as an organization? Yes or no? So, as a lawyer, as someone who argues in court, I'll tell you what is my ecosystem comprised of. I have my juniors who assist me. I have my court clerk who effectively takes care of my dates, who ensures that my files are in order. And I also have an office boy who tries to help me whenever there is a client who comes to visit me. Which of these people is dispensable in my life? I need somebody who attends to the clients who come in. I need somebody to manage my cases to some extent. And I need someone who is my ambassador in court. Isn't there a remote possibility that my court clerk is more important than my juniors? Isn't there a possibility that without my court clerk I cannot function, but without my juniors I may function? Isn't that possible? The point that I'm trying to make is this. When you choose to, or when you fail to ask the right questions with respect to your systems, you give an opportunity to someone with a vested interest or with a motivation to define your nature for you, to tell you who you are. Will you allow any other person to dictate your individual identity or your personality and define who you are as a person? Yes or no? You won't. Then how is it that we are so comfortable when it comes to our collective identity? So from my little understanding or my limited understanding of the caste dharma, it's been basically this. It largely applies only to the phase of life where you're a householder. Not when you're a student and not when you've crossed the stage of a householder. But why that particular stage is the focal point of the caste dharma? Because those are your productive years. Those are the years that you make yourself useful to the family as well as to the society because you're still active. And that is when you're at the prime of your vocational expertise or professional proficiency. Therefore, this was primarily meant to be a system which was meant to ensure that you are in a position to contribute your best to the best of your abilities and to the best of your innate nature. Unfortunately, over a point of time, as is human nature, it's like an unreserved compartment in a train. Anyone who gets the seat will never wish that the other person gets the seat, because you've effectively put your position there, you've put your foot in the door. So as a consequence of which, what has happened is that anyone who's occupied what he thinks is the supreme position doesn't want to vacate that particular position. But the good part, and according to me, this is the benchmark for every system. Any system that is not open to change and is incapable of change is a system that is meant to die and wither away, regardless of who is its author and where it comes from. Can you really say, having seen whatever it is that you have seen, that as a community and as a let's say as a civilization, you're incapable of reform? Can you really say that you come from a society which is so rigid that when it is pointed its mistakes, it is incapable of accepting its mistakes? When you're told that this is not the way to treat a woman, do you not change the manner in which you treat a woman? There was a time when the daughter would never be considered worthy of her father's inheritance. But today she is as equal as the son, or the son is as equal as the daughter. Yes or no? Do you need any further proof of the fact that you are a fundamentally open system which is open to reform, provided there is a need for reform?